I didn't play that much of it.
Oh, I don't think so either, but we got tagged for copyright. I just erased it out of the video. Bam, we're live.
Yeah.
Phillip, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Phillip, do not play any Nate Dogg or Warren G in the background, please.
I was gonna try to wear my AirPods, but it's not connecting right. But I can hear you just fine. So.
Oh, I can wait too. Do you want to mess with it? It's up to you.
Well, can you hear me good?
I can hear you great.
Okay, then I'll just leave it.
I was what made me think of that Nate Dogg and Warren G thing is I wanted to show that video that kind of shows your journey, but I wonder if I should just show it without the audio, even though the audio is so good. I wonder if we'll get tagged for the audio.
Which one is it?
Do you see it at the very top up there, Caleb? It's just
I'm pulling it up right now.
In the notes, it's just titled The Journey. Guys, hi everyone. Good morning. Phillip Kelly came across my radar because I sit around here in my chair in my little 3-plane brothers empire being like, show me someone healthy who's died. Show me. Go ahead. I dare you. And someone's like, well, hey, this dude does CrossFit and he was healthy and fuck, man, he skirted the line pretty close.
But I didn't die.
No, you didn't. That's true. Thank you. And thank you for not doing that and fucking up my story. Do you ever get annoyed? Do you ever listen to the show?
Me?
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, so do you ever get annoyed when I say that? You're like, hey, asshole, I almost died.
No, and you and we've talked before even.
Okay.
We've talked a few times. Just
on the phone we talked?
No. Through DMs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We can get into that at some point, but
okay.
But yeah.
Did we fight in the DMs or were we nice to each other?
No, one time. Well, I know how you are.
How dare you?
I know.
No one understands me. I'm very complicated.
Yeah, I would say that, but
I am not complicated. I'm
complicated. No, one time when you and I were talking about what happened to me, and you were asking what happened, and I was talking about how I was isolating in my bedroom, trying to stay away from my wife and my kids. And I think you said something like, "Why did you do that? Like, why does it matter?" And I'm in my head, I'm like, well, because I felt like shit, and I didn't want my kids to feel that way, even with knowing what we knew about kids aren't really affected the same way as older people are. I still just thought I'll just do the damn isolation thing, and try to keep them from getting sick. Because I mean, I was pretty sick. It was like felt like the worst flu you could ever have,
I don't want to name any names. I would hate to throw my wife under the bus, but I will tell you this, that when my wife got COVID, my wife knows everything about COVID that I know. And when she got COVID, I could tell that for the first couple of days, like when she tested positive, the propaganda still got to her. Even though she knew that she was totally fine and but until you get it, like you could talk all the shit you want, like from on a podcast or like me and her could be like, this is silly. And we just go everywhere and didn't care. But when she got it, you could tell that the media had still fucked with her. Like she got scared.
Had some doubt.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't say it to me, but I could tell. I was like, oh, fuck, she's scared.
Yeah.
My wife still
gets that way if any one of us has like a cough.
Well, you kind of got a different situation. You really fucking took your family through the ringer.
True. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. Whose fault is it?
Should I say?
Sure. Well, sure.
Who's okay, see you later. I love you
Bye.
too.
Bye, honey.
Yeah.
Pick up a couple pounds of hamburger meat for tonight for the UFC fight.
She's going to the gym right now because they're doing an in-house competition and she's volunteering to help. So
lots of germs in the gym. Tell her to be careful.
So what? Anyways, what we were saying, about the
whose fault is it? Who do you think it is? Like when you say fault, like China, Dr. Fauci.
Whose fault is it that I was allowed to get as sick as I did?
Yeah.
Fauci.
Yeah.
Fauci's protocol or lack of protocol.
Man, it's just bizarre. Yeah, I as I dug through your Instagram, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess the real issue, and you sum it up, I can hear it in your voice, and there's a little bit of an angle to it everywhere, is that the lack of transparency has made it. Do you remember back in the day when marijuana was illegal and the whole thing is like, hey, it's illegal, so no one can study it. Like, at least let people study it. COVID's like that too. It's like there's just not information on it because there's no transparency, and that the information there is about it, it's just there's so much lying.
Well, it seems like the information and the data and research that actual doctors who are willing to be a doctor and treat their patients, that just gets silenced, and you get represented, you get posted and tagged as spreading misinformation, as you know personally.
Yeah.
So
did you see what happened in California recently? What Gavin Newsom signed?
which thing?
You're not allowed to. You can't get second opinions now. So if you're a doctor and you step out of line of the state mandated protocol for what to do with COVID, you can lose your license.
Mm-hmm. So
that's bizarre.
Who knows?
I can't believe that's real. I cannot believe that's real. And then you see the way the New York Times couches it too, that they're protecting us by not allowing us to get a second opinion. It's so bizarre.
How will they? I don't. For what good doctors there might still be here in California, what is to prevent them from saying, you know what, I'm going to go to another state where I can actually be a doctor?
Right.
Yeah, I saw it. After
nuts.
Last week, me going to the doctor and having a bad experience there. So it was like the timing was impeccable.
Oh, the follow-up. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back.
Okay, that video.
Yes.
It does have background music on there. It's by a Christian artist. So I don't know if you can play and just say, we don't own the rights to the music type of thing. I don't know how the, guidelines work. Instagram
I guess
lets me use it, but I have it where I selected it from the music that's available.
Yeah, it's different on YouTube. But can you play that without any music? Thanks. So this is your journey from rock bottom in the hospital with COVID.
I would say probably even not rock bottom, because for the first 30 days, nobody could come in to see me.
Wow.
So that footage is after then.
Did you see the interview I did with that guy, Paul, who was also in the hospital? Did that resonate with you? Some of that shit he was saying?
I wish I had gone back and taken some notes on it. But I did watch it. I think I even saved it too, so I could watch it again. But I remember watching it thinking, like, thank God somebody is talking to people like him and I, because I think we weren't supposed to make it, but we did. And there's not a whole bunch of us like us. So I'm glad that you're willing to talk to us.
We weren't supposed to make it.
I mean, we defied the odds, I would say, right? I mean, I don't know what the numbers are on people that end up on vents and then come off of them.
And you got remdesivir too, right?
Yes, I believe I was given that for like 4 or 5 days.
I spoke to a doctor yesterday and told him that I was having you on, and that you almost died, and that I'm, being with my own biases, of course, right? Everyone knows my biases. I want to be like, well, maybe the treatment fucked him up. Well, the first thing the doctor said to me, I said, yeah. He said, did he get remdesivir? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh man.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that even a doctor, that was his first. Okay, let's go back a little bit. So you live in Vacaville, California. That's about 100 miles north of me. You're basically between me and Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
That's not. I guess that's fair enough.
That's a good.
You're northeast of San Francisco by 40, 50 miles.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
And and how old are you?
I'm 39 now.
So basically, if you would have been...
How old do I look?
39, 34. If I don't even know anymore. I was on this whole kick because a couple people were telling me I look old, but there's two things. One, I don't look old, but two, I want to look 50. I'm 50. I should look 50. I'm happy to look 50. I want people to see me and be like, man, he can get away with murder. He's 50.
You said you don't look old?
No, I don't look old.
Didn't your mom tell you Dave wouldn't lie?
Yeah, but they're fucking stupid. Okay. If I looked old, I mean, I don't have bags under my eyes and shit. I'm not all wrinkly. You think I look old too?
I don't care if you do look old. I'm sure you could
Oh
probably
shit, he skirted the question.
outwork out some other people your age. Probably a
He
lot of people your
outscored
age.
all the dudes in Starbucks I can. That's my
Yeah.
metric. Here, this, maybe that's why I can't see myself. I have a 50-year-old body with a 12-year-old mind. That's fair. So if you would have been 50, they would have let you go and die, right? That's one of the things that Paul was telling me, the guy on the show, that basically once you're over 50, some of the protocols that they do to save people under 50, they don't do, and they just let you die.
It's very possible. I would guess. I haven't done a whole lot of research into the age, like demographics, and what the treatment is for those people. I think from what I've learned, a lot of this in the time, even when I was sick last year, they're treating symptoms, and it's just a sit and wait game, right? And intubated on a ventilator, most people don't end up coming back from that. Meanwhile, your family can't come and see you. You're just there. And I don't know if I know that there are some things, actually. There was just an article on CrossFit.com just last week about a guy who was sick, and because of his age, I think he was 50. Because of his age, they said, typically we won't put them, they were going to put him on an ECMO, and which is like the ultimate life support. And they said, typically we don't do this for people his age or older, but because of the shape he's in, because he does CrossFit, because of the shape he's in, we're going to do it.
Right.
So they did, and he ended up surviving.
Right. Donna Simon, I have a friend who was also almost killed by remdesivir. I mean, we had a guest on the show who claimed that his mom was killed by remdesivir. That wasn't even the point of the show. But we had Alex Stein on here, and he said, no matter what, do not give my mom remdesivir. They gave it to her, and he said he claims it killed her. Is this what the guy was put on? Extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, also known as, go ahead, Caleb. ECMO. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Is this pretty serious when you're put on this, Caleb?
Yeah, I would say so.
You don't want to be.
Most people probably aren't going to come back from that.
Cardiac and respiratory support for persons whose heart and lungs are unable to provide an adequate amount of gas exchange. Yikes. Okay, so how did you find CrossFit? What year did you find CrossFit?
I had known about CrossFit for some years because my wife had a friend from high school who did it. And I remember seeing a video of her, and this was probably 08, 09 maybe.
Oh shit. Okay.
And I remember seeing a video of her, and she's doing a workout, and it was just her and this other guy. I can't remember the workout, but I think maybe they're doing Cindy. I don't know, but they're doing pull-ups, push-ups, and she ends up beating the guy. And I was like, damn, like, so I had known about it. And then I would say a few years later, so in 2012, I saw a replay of the CrossFit Games on ESPN. And I was like, all right, I want to try that. I was like, I want to look like that. And so I called around to a couple gyms. And
specifically Rich Froning.
I don't know. I mean, Josh Bridges, Dan Bailey.
Okay,
Jason
fair
Phillip,
enough.
I mean, all those guys,
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So anyhow, I saw that, and I remember thinking like, okay, because I just was going to a Globo gym at the time and doing shit in my garage, freaking like P90X and stuff. And so I called around to gyms. The first one that called me back was a whole city over at the outskirts of town, and they were about to start like a beginner's like on-ramp course. And I said, okay, I'll sign up for that. I did that. And I mean, I remember taking those classes, and I would look over at the members taking their regular class. And I just remember thinking, I can't wait to be in those regular classes. And tried going back to my Globo gym on a Sunday because, CrossFit gyms are closed on Sundays typically. And I went in there, and I was just bored. And that day I remember thinking, okay, I'm turning off this membership, and I'm just going to go with the CrossFit thing. And I'll never stop. When people ask me, do you think you'll do that forever? I look at them and I'm like, why wouldn't I? Why would I stop?
Yeah. Yeah. And if that was 2012, that's 10 years ago. So you were 25. Wait, how old did you say you were? You're 35
39.
now? 39. So you were 29.
Yeah, 29. My wife was pregnant with our son.
Was she like, hey, dude, you're wasting our money. We need to save our money?
Mm-mm.
No.
She was, at first, I don't think she was happy with all of the new friends that I had made, which I think is common when you have a couple and one person does CrossFit and the other one doesn't. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but that can be a thing.
My wife just told me it was dangerous as shit, and I was gonna hurt myself.
Well, so what?
And that all those people there were gonna hurt themselves, and that they would be doing rehabilitative yoga within 10 years. I think she was right for 50% of them.
Yeah, probably. But that's why I'm like, so what? I'm still gonna do all this shit.
I know. Oh, of course. And that's the thing too. Especially as you get older, you start scaling it and being smarter. But the choice on the other end to just sit on the couch and turn into a pile of shit is the trait. I mean, you have to take your own risks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're doing CrossFit, and you go in there thinking it's going to be this physical activity, but at some point you must be like, oh, they have a kind of a nutrition plan too that's at their foundation, right? You're at CrossFit level 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so let's go from there. When do you take your L1? How long are you there before you?
I think a couple years after, maybe 2014. Let me see. I think 2014 maybe.
And why do you do that? Because you have aspirations to be a trainer, or you just want to learn more?
No, because I'll call myself a CrossFit nerd, and I've watched so many just videos on like from CrossFit's YouTube page. The journal, is the journal even still active? I wish it was, because I mean, I know you can go on there and pull up old stuff, but is there new stuff in there really?
It is going. I think Dave recently did a video where he said it's going to be back, and it's going to take like a year or a year and a half.
Okay.
I have such strong opinions on what they've done with the journal. It's linked directly with the downfall of CrossFit. I mean, like if they don't bring that up, they're toast. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember realizing, wait a minute, I've been paying for the journal for over a year now, and I haven't seen anything new put on there all this time. Anyhow, I just nerd out on it.
Wait a second. You said you still pay for the journal?
No.
Oh, back in the day.
There was a time period where I realized, wait, I've been paying for this, and
I don't even know why Greg really turned it off. I think he thought it was diluting the core message because there was so much content in there and there was shit in there that he wasn't proud of. And so basically around 2018, he turned it off, and he was going to cut a deal with Beyond the Whiteboard to just kind of bring the pieces from the old days up forward. I personally didn't agree with that at all. There's 10,000 pieces of amazing content in there. And if there's shit in there that's isn't up to snuff, it's okay.
Isn't it crazy to think how many trainers are out there probably that haven't ever even looked at anything in the journal?
It's a fucking unbelievable if that's true. Unreal.
I bet you.
Unreal. We had so many subscribers to that, and 95% of the stuff was free already. So the fact that people were paying, it was another piece of kind of this model that Greg had of the brand loyalty payment. Like, hey, do you want to support this? Go ahead and support it. If you don't. We still give 95% of the way and 95% of the stuff in there away for free. It was killer.
Yeah, one of the things that I've always enjoyed is taking classes from different coaches. Mm-hmm. And even once I finished that beginner's program and I went into the regular classes, I remember like making a mental note and saying, okay, I'm going to take it. So typically I was a 5 a.m.er, and
that's hardcore.
They had a rotation of coaches for 5 a.m., but there's other trainers that would come in the afternoons and do those classes. So if I saw that there was going to be a coach on schedule that I had not taken a class from, but they were going to be in the afternoon, I would go in the afternoon instead, because as you guys know, different coaches give different cues, different things, ring with people differently. So, and I always tell even the other coaches this now, you can learn a lot of good stuff from other coaches, and you can learn bad stuff too. And I think I've probably learned probably more bad than good. So I've learned a lot from taking classes from trainers that could do things better. And I'm not trying to like pipe myself up as this amazing coach. I'm just saying it's a good idea to learn from other people and also take classes from other coaches instead of just training on your own.
Give me something that like you learned that was bad, like just so I can like understand what you mean by that.
Oh, easy things. Project your voice so the whole class can hear you.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay, I
drives
see
me
what you're
nuts
saying.
if I'm in a
Okay.
class and I can't even hear the coach.
Right.
Can't hear the coach. The members obviously aren't paying attention then. So that right there is already, it distracts me if I'm in the class because I'm trying to focus on what they're trying to say. That's like an easy one, but it's common.
My wife takes this Pilates class in 1 day a week. It's a hot Pilates class, and all the people I know who take the class there's only one person I know who took the class and never went back. All my wife's friends, my friends who take the class, like it's like the most popular thing that everyone's talking about in Santa Cruz, this one Pilates class. But when I fucking hear about it, their descriptions are always the music's too loud and you can't hear a word the teacher says.
Did you tell her, are you sure you're not doing CrossFit?
Well, she does a lot of CrossFit too, but it drives me fucking nuts. I can't stand. That's why I hated bars. I hate clubs and bars. I hate going anywhere where I can't fucking like talk to someone. And if I can't hear the instructor, but people love it for some reason, even though they all say the same thing. The 10 of my friends who go there, oh yeah, you can't hear what she says. You have to look around and see what other people are doing to know what pose to be in. And the music's too loud. I would fucking lose my mind.
I usually turn down the music just enough. I don't need it dead silent in there, but yeah, I'll turn it down so they can hear me.
So after 2 years, you take the L1. So then at that point, you know that diet's the foundation of the
I already knew that because, of course, at the time the gym was doing like challenges, nutrition challenges, paleo challenges, stuff like that. So I actually ended up dropping a lot of weight by doing their paleo challenge. And then I did that for like a while, even after the challenge, then realized that I wasn't eating enough food. I wasn't having enough carbs in my diet. And so, you go through that journey I think probably a lot of people do when they're doing CrossFit. And with as much as I was training too, I'd still go at 5 a.m. And then at that point I would go back in the evenings to do their weightlifting class. Because I remember taking a class and there was snatches in the Metcon. And I had never done a snatch before, not even in the beginners class, their little on-ramp program. We didn't go over snatching. And in the workout, I'm like, wait, how do I do this? I'd never even been shown. And so the coach came over, or one of the owners came over and he said, we have a barbell class, a weightlifting class. You should come by and check it out. And I was like, I'll fucking be there because I want to know how to do this. So I'm not standing here looking at everybody else feeling like an idiot, And so then I got hooked, of course, on the weightlifting side of it. And now it's like I get CrossFit ADD. Not so much now because I'm not able to do as much. But for a long time, I would get it. I want to just do weightlifting, focus on that. And then, okay, I want to get back and focus on like my Fran time and stuff like that.
Just going back for a second, Donna Sim, as subsequent studies revealed, 97.2% mortality rate among those over 65 who were put on mechanical ventilators in accordance with the initial guidance from the WHO. But look how much this number drops under 65. Only 26% of the people died, 27% of the people. Oh, wow. Okay. Over 65 who weren't put on mechanical ventilators. I know that's not. Basically, she's saying if you just looked at these numbers, you would not want to be put on a ventilator. But I know that I know that this isn't like science we're looking at, that there's a lot of factors that we don't know. Like, why weren't they? Well, probably because they weren't as sick. So that's probably why they didn't die. So I don't want to blame the ventilator, but I still appreciate the numbers, Donna. Like I hear you. I want to lean your way. I hear what you're saying, and there's probably some truth there. So when you take the L1, did you have a day job? What was your job then? Your vocation? What did you do?
It's like a desk job. I worked for a title and escrow company.
God, I was hoping you worked like in a spray paint company or something. I'm just looking for anything. I want to be like, aha! Your lungs were fucked up.
Why I got so sick?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. So
prior to doing CrossFit for about maybe 9 or 10 years, I would smoke socially. So on the weekends, if I was having a couple drinks, I would have a couple cigarettes too.
yeah, I smoked for
But
a
I
fucking
wasn't like
shitload of years. Yeah.
I didn't like need to take breaks at work and just like, puffing away or anything.
But you weren't
And
leaving the CrossFit gym and going in your car and smoking 3 cigarettes on your way home from the
no,
gym.
when my wife got pregnant with our son, I quit. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. And then when I started doing CrossFit, I was like, I definitely can't be smoking. Like, there's no way. There's no
Were
way.
you ever diagnosed with anything as a kid? Did you ever have any
No.
health issues before this?
No asthma, nothing.
No, you weren't type 2 diabetic.
No.
You didn't weren't into poppers and Oxycontin. You don't have AIDS.
No.
Just trying. Just want to make sure. Just need to look under. Yeah, just digging around a little bit.
When I think back on it, I was just talking to a buddy of mine. When I think back on it, I would say, I know at that time, as far as work goes, I was working a lot at the time. And so maybe stress, maybe I was under a lot of stress between that and just everyday life. I don't know. I think at that time I had taken a break from coaching because of my schedule. It was so busy. I was working so much. Waking up early, logging on to work because I was working from home because everything, had shut down or was still somewhat. And I'd work all day, go coach, at some point try to figure out time for me to work out, come back home late at night, and then log back on and work some more, and then wake up early to do it again.
Isn't it amazing that Paul I had on, like, he was smoking like 3 vape cartridges a day. He was 6 months sober from like doing everything you could with meth and heroin and cigarettes and
amazing.
Yeah. You got popped. They put a hole in you here, right?
Yeah. You barely can tell. Like you see right here.
Yeah.
Some people's it's
and they
obvious.
They put a hole in him down here also. Did they do that too? I think like to vacuum out his no.
I had a pick line. I'm trying to get where you can see it. See right here.
Yeah.
Wait, right there. That's where my pick line was. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. My wife had an infection and they couldn't figure out what it was. So she had to have antibiotics pumped into her for like 5 weeks. She had the pick line in the bag on her.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Thank you. Hubba.
So small.
Me too. Okay. So on August, don't tell me.
Okay.
On August 17th, 2021, you woke up in the hospital.
The 17th?
Yes.
No.
Oh. So much for that research. What day? August of what? Of 2021?
I didn't wake up until it was September.
Shit. My shit's all fucked up.
It's okay. I tested positive on August 5th.
Okay.
And went into
August 5th, 2021.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back 2 weeks before then. What's the first time you started feeling sick?
Shit, I was just looking at a calendar earlier. Probably around the 1st
of August.
Yeah.
And what did that look like when you felt sick?
Was
it unique
fever.
Or was it just another cold? Fever,
headache, typical things you feel when you have a fever. Some chills, pretty crappy, just the fever alone will make you feel like, I don't really.
But anything unique about it, or like, hey, I've been here before.
My wife had been sick. She was at the tail end, I would guess.
Had she been tested? Did she have COVID?
She had not tested.
That's a good sign.
At the time, we were kind of like, oh, it's probably COVID, right? And all along, her and I were always like, we're healthy when we get it. Because when this all started, I remember telling my office, just give it to me now so I can get it over with. And so anyhow, when she was sick, she didn't test. But, I mean, in the back of my mind, I was like, it's probably COVID. And then when I started to feel so she was isolating in our room. So then when I started to feel like crap, I said, okay, I remember texting her. I was in the living room and I was like, I got it, whatever, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I got it. And so I told her I'm going to go get tested just so we can say this is what it is. And so I ended up getting tested on a few days later on August 5th. That must have been because it was so busy. You couldn't get an appointment right away. I mean, it was when I went there to get tested, the drive up thing behind the hospital, it was a line of people in line to get tested. That was during the time at the Delta variant, and it was hitting our area super hard.
That was I think I read that story. You were at the testing center and a giant 747 flew over the testing center it was Air China, and it just dropped it, like set 10,000 tests on the place, right? Yes, okay. So you finally get in there and get tested on the 5th. And how long before they tell you? Is it just one of those ones I would see on TV where you're sitting in your car and someone comes like and swabs your nose? Like,
no, they actually had us get out. You had to wear a mask, of course. Get out, walk in. It was very like robotic. Tell them your name, show them your ID, go around this corner, and there's literally like almost like a dressing booth set up, and you walk up to the person that's standing there and they're ready with the Q-tip to swab your nose.
It kind of reminds me of the vibe in like a marijuana dispensary. Every time I go into a marijuana dispensary, I'm like, God, the vibe in these places is so fucked up and weird. Everyone's so fucking weird. It's like that, right? Everyone's just acting weird. Everyone's quiet. No one's talking.
Dispensary, so.
Oh, it's fucking weird. It's just weirdo central.
You're doing like the same thing so frequently. You just get into a rhythm. Like everybody is just an object at that point.
And then, but even the people there like kind of acting weird, right? Like you're not there. Hey, what's up, girl? Good to see you in here for the test. Everyone's like,
everybody's
masked and freaked out.
Yeah. It doesn't. There's no personality between anybody. It's just like
everyone's wondering if
give me your ID.
Yeah. Okay.
Take this over there. Yeah.
And so you go over and get tested, and then how long on the 5th, and how long before they tell you that you're positive?
I think I actually tested on the 4th. I'd have to look at my medical record and got the positive on the 5th, or maybe it was.
I'll accept that.
Right around there.
Okay. And how do they tell you you're positive? You get something in the mail or computer? Or
no. So
text?
No. I think they email you. They emailed me and said you have a new message, and so I just go onto their app and take a look and see.
And it said you were a winner.
Yep.
And by then, do you sense it getting worse?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I felt pretty crappy. I didn't want to eat. I just had no appetite. I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell, but I had zero appetite. So if I had anything, I kept having the only thing that sounded good was like fruit or like a fruit smoothie from like Jamba Juice. And so I remember getting Jamba Juice a few times. I think I DoorDashed it, and a couple of times my wife went and got it.
Do you know anyone else who got COVID as bad as you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
In your town?
No.
Oh, but people you've met since?
Yeah, since. People have found me on Instagram.
Right, but before then, like, do you know anyone in your immediate friends do you know anyone who died from it?
Not personally.
Yeah, interesting.
So
you got it worse than anyone you know.
As far as I know, and what
I mean, and you know what I mean. I'm not talking about now. You know a shitload of people.
No, yeah. I mean, when I came home from rehab, and people would start to come visit me, and whenever I'd see people, everybody has also told me they couldn't believe that I got so sick, and they knew nobody else that had gotten that sick either.
God,
so it's like a two are there. Why did you get so sick? And me, of all people,
Right. Are your parents still alive?
Yeah, hold on. I'm reading what that person said. What did Carlos say?
Carlos Ruiz for $4.99. Thank you, Carlos. I'm listening to this and thinking how many people would have to be included in this lie that the planet isn't round. What the fuck? I refuse to believe it's flat. Carlos, you don't believe anything. It's easier that way. Just roll. Just be cool. just believe that your wife loves you and that your penis is a
Just
magic wand.
look into it, Carlos. You'd be surprised.
I don't know if the earth is flat either. But what a great practice to talk to that guy and just keep an open mind instead of like roll my eyes at him. Let's talk.
You could.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to
know.
hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was interesting, did you watch that show, Phillip?
No.
Basically, the guy wasn't even 100% sure that they're like, he wasn't like demanding that I believe it was flat in the slightest. I was like, so do you believe, like, I was going to pin him down and be like, hey, would you bet 2 inches of your cock on the earth is flat or round? But we never even got to that because he was still like, well, he wanted to explore it too, like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, no one should
So
ever.
nobody knew that I was nobody that I know got as sick as I did.
Okay, and so you're getting sicker, and the big thing is you're not eating. I never got tested, but I think I had it because a bunch of people around me had it, and my wife had it, and I remember thinking at its peak, like I probably shouldn't even be driving.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's what you call brain fog, but I didn't like. I remember there was a 1 or 2 days where I'm like, hey, I'm going to take the boys to the skate park. And I got them loaded in the car. I'm like, fuck, I really shouldn't be driving. I'm not here.
Could feel it.
Yeah, I'm not here. It was a very unique sickness. It wasn't just, it was a trip. I didn't lose my taste or any of that shit either. My wife did. I wonder why doesn't everyone lose their taste and smell? Why can't that just be like a, because everyone who got sick gets a fever, right? Is there anyone who gets sick and doesn't have the fever?
I mean, you can just have a cold and not have a fever with it.
But I mean, with COVID, are there any indications that every single person had COVID? I guess not. 80%
really,
of the people are asymptomatic. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had a fever when I got COVID, but I still had my taste and smell too.
How did you know you had it? Just from a test, or you had some other symptoms?
Yeah, I had to get tested. They wouldn't let me go to work.
That's a beautiful shirt, Caleb. It's a very nice shirt.
Hey, I have one. I literally ran out of time to go throw it on before because I was trying to set up.
I saw in one of your videos you were wearing the TDC CEO shirt.
Yeah, actually, the last time I went live, I was wearing it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
Okay, so when you test positive, do they tell you anything? Do they give you like a 2-page sheet and they say do this, and this, and tell you like how to heal yourself? Is there a protocol they give you? Because that was like one of the big complaints that like, hey, they're not saying stop eating sugar or make sure you go for a walk every day, or there was no protocol on how to heal yourself.
No, they had to do whatever Anthony Fauci said,
which was lock yourself in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only
lock yourself in a room so that you don't spread it to others, even though you're spreading it to others in your house? And that's it. Sit and wait.
I think we were just giving people, I mean, at least from our hospital, we were just giving things to treat symptoms. So like Cepacol cough drops to like alleviate coughing, maybe some Sudafed for the congestion, stuff like that. But it wasn't like, but then they also like, hey, stay home for the next 5 to 10 days or whatever and shit like that.
How long did they tell you to stay home, Phillip? Is it 2 weeks?
I can't even remember if that's something they told me.
Okay. So when you find out you have it, you're at home. I'm assuming you're on your computer, and at that moment, do you quarantine yourself? That's when you're like, okay, I'm going to go hang out in my room for. And how long did you plan on doing that?
Probably till I felt better.
Okay. So if that's on the 5th, what can you walk me through the days and the decline before you're like, okay, I'm guessing at some point you're like, hey, I should go to the hospital.
No.
Oh, okay, great.
I was sick in my room, and I had a really bad cough on top of feeling like crap. And I would take medicine to bring down my fever. You know, so a typical thing, like when I'm sick, if I have like a flu and a fever, I'll take something to break the fever. So usually I'll end up falling asleep. Then I wake up and I'm sweating because I'm breaking the fever. And then I feel good for a little bit. Then eventually fall back asleep. Some hours later, wake back up feeling like crap again because the fever's back. Just going through that for a few days. And so it was August 5th, I was positive. August 11th was my daughter's first day of kindergarten and my son's first day of 4th grade. And I don't even remember my wife sending me a picture of them. But apparently she sent me a picture of them when they were ready for school. And my dad just said, you sent me that picture on that day. And I don't even remember doing that. And then, so I don't remember anything that happened. It's funny you asked me because just before we started on here, I ran inside into the bathroom and I asked my wife, I said, okay, what happened the day that you found me? Because her and I haven't ever talked about it. I can figure it out, but we haven't ever actually talked about it. So I just said, what happened when you found me? Was I just not breathing or what? And she said, no, you were breathing. But she said, this was just this December. This was after I came home. But she said, you were breathing, but it was like you were non-responsive. And she said, your breathing was like this big, deep, like trying to really try to breathe. And I wasn't responding to her at all.
And what is that? You weren't getting enough oxygen and you were basically just going brain dead?
I would guess because when they came and picked me up and they checked, my oxygen was in the 50s.
Holy shit. That's what the
and actually let me just backtrack really quick.
Okay. Yeah, please.
A couple days before then, I called the advice nurse.
So this is around the 9th.
Probably. If I pulled up my record, I could do it, but
the precision's not
the app is
that
it's
important.
a pain in the ass. I actually just
okay.
the other day I just ordered copies of my medical record, everything from the day that I tested positive up until now. So they're printing it all out and they're going to get it to me, but it's a lot. So I wanted it in time for this so I could, but whatever. At some point, I called the advice nurse to tell her I'm COVID positive. I have a really bad cough on top of the other symptoms. When I'm coughing, it feels like I need oxygen. And I said, I don't even know if that's the right way to describe it, but that's the only thing that I can think of how I'm feeling. And she said, for people I said, can I get an oxygen tank brought here? I was like, does that sound crazy? But I was like, is that something that we can do? And she said, we don't usually do that for people your age. We don't usually prescribe oxygen. And I said, okay. And she said, well, we can give you an inhaler of albuterol. And I've never had an inhaler in my life, but I'm like, okay, if that's what she'll give me, I'll take it. So my wife went and picked it up at the pharmacy and I had that for a couple days.
And any relief from that?
Not really that I could tell. I don't know, it's just such a weird time because I already felt like shit. And I was just like, okay, I'll just do this inhaler. Never really done it before.
Did anyone say, hey, you should take hydrochloroquine or ivermectin or were any of those things mentioned to you?
No.
No. None of your friends even? No one swung by with yo, I got some ivermectin. Take this.
No. My dad probably would have.
Where does he live?
Arizona.
Your mom lives there too?
She lives here in Vacaville.
Yeah, your dad definitely would have living in Arizona.
Well, he used to live out here. He's a retired police officer.
So basically on the 11th, your kid's first day of school, you went basically unconscious and your wife called an ambulance.
Yeah, it was that evening, I want to say. Because the kids, I think the kids
Thank God she checked on you.
Yeah. She just came in to check on. I just asked her, I said, were you texting me and I wasn't responding? And she said, no, I just came in to check on you. And yeah, good thing. I know. I see that, Donna. Right.
Did you take, I think that's a question. Were you taking any vitamin D, vitamin C?
I was taking a multivitamin. I'm sure you're familiar with X Endurance. They have a multivitamin. It's called Immunity Boost. So I was taking that.
The second I ever get sick, I start taking between 1,000 and 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C every hour. So I'll get up to like 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day.
That's almost
all of that. Okay?
Go through you're just gonna pee almost all of that out.
So they say.
I mean, it helps.
So they say.
But like 90%.
Well, so what? You gotta pee anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Vitamin C cures cancer and and erectile dysfunction and bad moods and athlete's foot. No, it doesn't cure athlete's foot. All that other stuff, though, is right.
Misinformation.
Carlos Ruiz 999. My wife tested positive, and so me and my 2 kids got tested. I came out negative, and my kids positive. I think that's basically what we did at my family too, something like that. Kids only felt sick for a day and got over it. I felt sick. I never felt sick at all. My wife was sick for a week. Yeah, my wife was sick for a couple of weeks. My wife, even after a month, she said she wasn't normal.
When was your wife sick?
Maybe a year ago.
That was during the Delta variant.
How did they know? And that's the variant you had.
You know what?
Oh.
That's a good question, because that's what was going around at the time. But I remember being in the hospital once I was finally awake and when I could actually talk to people. I remember asking, and I think my wife said they really don't have any way of knowing. And that's probably what she was told. There has to be a way, though, right? Like
kind of. The way they do it is, the numbers aren't right, but the spirit of what I'm going to tell you is right. Basically, what they do is for every 1,000 positive tests, they send 1 out. And so if a place gets 10,000 positive tests, they send 100 out. And those 100 tests are then figured out. Okay, 80% of those were Delta, 20% were Omni. You know what I mean? And then they tell everyone, okay, there's an 80% chance you have the Delta variant, or they'll just fucking lie to you and tell you, hey, you have the Delta variant, because that's the one that they tested for most from the sample they took.
Yeah.
My wife's doctor was taking ivermectin every week for 2 years. He would take one prophylactically like every week. And so we had that shit all over the house. I think she took some. I never took it.
Did you guys take it? Yeah. Did you take it?
I think she did. I think she did.
Now, there's a lot of other things that you could take
and I would hear
found without taking ivermectin or hydrochloroquine that can help you. Like, you don't necessarily it's not obviously like there's like not the only one answer. Like, you can take a combination of these other medicines along with supplementing with vitamins and not need the ivermectin and hydrochloroquine.
We'll get back to that, but when she started taking the ivermectin at night, I would hear she started snoring, and it sounded like this.
I'm sure she loves you for sharing that.
I was like, whoa, I'm sleeping with a horse.
She needs a CPAP.
Yeah, she started turning into a horse. Did
you record her?
No,
I would have done that.
She didn't sound like a horse, but okay. So you go, is that the last? So you don't have any memory? Like, basically you were just, as your oxygen levels went down, you just basically turned off and you went unconscious. And what day was that you went into the hospital?
August 11th, 2021.
And when is your next memory after that?
Aside from the dreams that I had when I was sedated?
Yeah.
I have a glimpse of a time when I was in ICU, and I think this was maybe within the first few days, where they FaceTimed. I think it was with my mom.
I was so hoping you were going to say I have a memory of one of the nurses touching me inappropriately, but okay, FaceTime with your mom. I'll go with it.
That wasn't until later. No, and otherwise, other than that, okay, there was a point where after all of this crazy dreaming from the drugs that I was on, I couldn't see anything anymore in my dream. You know, there was no more images. Everything was just bright light everywhere I looked.
Oh shit! I hope you turned and ran the other way.
Solid.
I hope you went the other way. Do not go to the light.
No, and it wasn't light bulbs. Oh my god, my watch. It wasn't light bulbs. It was just light everywhere. Imagine just a screen of a bright light everywhere I looked. Couldn't see anything. I kept hearing a faint, like, you know, in movies where they have to like shock somebody to get their heart going again. They make that sound.
Yeah.
I kept hearing a sound like that every 20 seconds. And I just remember thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? And then slowly, faintly, I could hear voices, and it sounded like doctors and nurses talking. And so I thought, okay, I must have died. And this is like, I don't know where I'm at right now, but I must have died. And I remember thinking, okay, is my family okay? How are they taking this? And however long I remember feeling that way and thinking about that, then all of a sudden I could start to kind of like make a vision out of like looking straight ahead. And it was, I could see the face of a nurse right above me. And of course, it's like a movie, like a sci-fi movie. They're masked up, you know, they got all this shit on them. And she's smacking my face saying, wake up, wake up. And she's like, come on. She's like, we need more. She said something along the lines of, we need more Little League coaches, because she knew that my son plays in Little League baseball.
Wow.
Smacking
She was
me
really
like,
saying that, or you're making that shit up?
no, she really said it.
Wow.
Because she ended up coming back later to see me once I was awake in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a sign that someone gives a fuck.
I'll tell you more about her if you want.
Yeah.
Because
that's awesome.
like
that can't be in the protocol. She wasn't like, okay, find out what client is a client who's almost dead, find out one of their passions and slap them in the face. And she's improvising. I mean, she's
being a good nurse. That's for sure.
Yeah. She's being a good human. Yeah.
Right.
After
Give you like
being
a
there
sternal
for
rub.
so long, you know, I had been there over a month.
Let me take one quick. Sarah Cox chimes in. Our COVID testing tells you what variant it is. Oh,
now?
Shit. Look at Sarah fucking up my whole show right there.
California hormones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we got to get you. You know, they do stem cell. Two things if we never get to that I want just real quick, and we'll come back. Stem cells, hyperbaric chambers, and testosterone replacement therapy. Maybe there's something there for you. But and we report every. You do or you don't want to?
No, I do.
Oh, and we report every test positive and negative to the state and county. All right, fair enough. And then down here, she says she has monkeypox. No, yeah. I have monkeypox. No, she didn't say it. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Sarah, you don't have monkeypox, right? I think you have to be a gay dude. You don't have to be, but okay. Okay, so she's slapping you and she's saying we need more Little League coaches, and that's one of the memories you have.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what day that is. That would be crazy for me to ask you that, right?
I don't know. I could probably figure it out once I get my medical records.
And oh no, we are testing for monkeypox. How come you always want to test? She always wants to test my T count, but she never offers me a monkeypox test. So fucked up. I want to get tested for everything. So what? But just really quick, what day did you finally wake up and stay awake? If you went in on the 11th.
Well, August 11th was when I went in. I didn't wake up until September. Hold on.
Oh, I'm so happy you don't know that off the top of my head. People will be like, what's your kid's birthday? What's your wedding anniversary? I don't know any of that shit. You don't even know the day that you came back to life.
Well, I know it was, hold on. I started putting some of these dates into my calendar.
Are you a religious man?
Yeah.
Did you see God when you were in the...
No, but I wonder about what that light was that I was seeing.
Yeah, me too. It's going to suck when she says it was just her putting a flashlight in your eye, checking for pupil dilation. It's going to ruin your whole narrative.
People response.
I saw God. No, actually, it was my light. It was my
No, that was my
Damn.
pen light, dude.
Well, I can see God in a pen light. God is everywhere.
So funny. No, I'm trying to find the date that it was. Okay, I'll tell you this.
It's on your. I have in my notes that you. Oh
wait.
You had your 1 year anniversary on your Instagram.
Hold on. But the day that I woke up, I might have it.
Don't you have your 1 year anniversary? Didn't you do your anniversary on your Instagram?
There's a lot of 1 year anniversaries that I've experienced, to be honest with you. 1 year of going in, 1 year of
coming out.
Yeah, 1 year of when I was 1 year of when they did the trach, 1 year from the time when I had a blood clot.
When
And
you came out, did you forget that did you still know you were a man, or did you think there was a chance you might be a woman when you woke up?
I was glad that I was still a man.
Oh, phew. What if they would have had you know those surgeries that go sideways? Like you have the same name as someone going in and they take out your liver when you were only in there for like fucking colonoscopy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, right.
That shit happens. That shit happens.
Not those two specifically, but sure. They do colonoscopies in the different
Okay,
clinics
the
when
day
they
that
take the liver out.
my mom or my sister just texted me. I'm assuming she's watching. She said September 20th.
Is okay. Wow. So you were out for basically a month and 10 days, 40 days.
Yeah.
September 20th. Back alive. And that's that video where they're saying shake your toes, wiggle your toes.
Oh, what day was that?
There's a video in there.
Yeah, I know. I remember. That was my wife in the background saying that.
I was just telling Caleb, not you. I don't mean to be telling you what's on your Instagram. I apologize for the miscommunication.
Probably, yeah.
Let's see.
And then you so you come out, and then how long before you wake up before they send you home?
Well, I had to leave there. I left ICU and was transferred down to another floor where I obviously didn't need as much care anymore. And I was just being held there until the LTAC facility had room for me because I had to go and do rehab.
And are you vented at this point?
Yeah, they didn't take me off the vent until, let's see, September 23rd.
What's that like being on a ventilator? You're basically alive, but something's breathing for you?
Well, you have to remember, I was like intubated and right away.
You were intubated right away, right when they put you in there?
Right when I got there, they intubated me that night.
Caleb, is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
doesn't know. I'm sorry I asked you.
If you're having trouble breathing and you're not conscious, they're going to intubate you.
That's the
almost
protocol.
like, yeah, that's almost instantaneous. Like if you're getting picked up by an ambulance, they'll probably intubate you in the rig on the way to the hospital. If your stats, like if his stats were at 50%, then like they're not going to just put you on an oxygen mask because it's not going to do enough. You're going to
Can't you? And basically, once you're intubated, the concern with that is that once something starts breathing for you, that your body turns off the mechanism that does it on its own, and so that when they pull the intubator off of you, you just die. That's the fear, right?
Yeah, I would imagine if you're on it for too long, yeah, then that would be the concern. Like,
and then the other issue is
intubation.
And then the other issue is that they put too much oxygen in there, and they start fucking up the capillaries and the mechanisms that allow you to get oxygen into your bloodstream. Those are the two big things, right?
Correct.
Damn. Do they have to get approval from your wife before they do that?
Probably.
Caleb makes it sound like if they just put you in the ambulance, they just fucking poke a hole
for
in you.
intubating me. They probably just did it. I mean,
yeah,
there's
a lot of this stuff
at that point.
Right. A lot of this stuff will just happen instantaneously just because like this, you're trying to administer life-saving interventions on somebody. And you're not just going to be like, well, honey, how can I help you? Or are you allowing me to administer all of these things? Like, you're not going to take the time to ask them if you can do something. You're just going to do it because you're trying to save their life.
Phillip looks jacked. Any previous steroid usage? Great question. I wish I would ask that.
No, I'm not jacked.
Apparently, COVID hit steroid. Yeah,
I'm
very
not
hard.
jacked.
Yeah, you're pretty jacked.
Look at those biceps, dude. Shut up.
You're shaped like this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
As opposed to like this.
Got the tapered waist.
So later on, we'll get into my training post-COVID, but I'm hardly jacked.
We don't have time. We don't have time for that. This isn't a 3-hour show.
Whatever. But yeah, but okay, I'll just tell you real quick what I've been doing since I've been home because I can't. Intensity is relative. However, I can't do these crazy like metcons like I used to be able to. My lungs just can't take it because I still have scarring. So I thought, okay, but I can get stronger. So I'm gonna and I needed to put weight back on. I wanted to look like I was healthy. and put some size on. So I've been doing Dave Lipson's programming.
Which I think the foundation of that is steroids.
Well, that's not. You have to DM him to talk to him about the hormone growth stuff. I just follow the programming, and
I only speak to Sarah Cox about testosterone replacement therapy at California Hormones. Use the code Sevan to get a free consultation. Thank you.
Amazing. I wonder what would happen if I did take testosterone though.
Sarah will be contacting you shortly. I'm wondering about hyperbaric chamber also, and stem cell. So now we're off on another tangent here. Let me ask you this: you're saying that you have your metcons are hard because you have trouble breathing, but is it basically just what all of us feel, but yours comes sooner? No, it's not like, hey, you used to be able to do Fran in 10 minutes and now it's 15 minutes. It's actually like it fucking something's weird. What happens?
So, you know, when you're training and you're in the middle of a metcon and you might say to yourself, oh, I can't breathe, right?
Yeah, you put your hands on your knees or you take a break at like you're doing burpees for time and like you're like, shit, I got to rest. I can't breathe. Yeah.
So the best way that I can describe it to somebody is because I have the scarring in my lungs, the way that it feels is I don't have the reserves in my lungs of oxygen that you would have in just when you're exerting yourself or just in everyday life. So when you're breathing hard and exerting all of that, my lungs don't have the extra air that's just in there, kind of. And so it really does feel like I can't fucking breathe. Like I've never had asthma, so I don't know what wheezing feels like, but I imagine it's similar to that, where it's like I take breaths in and it just doesn't feel like it's getting me like replenished the way that it used to.
But it's like really, but that happens to me too. I just have to rest. I'll be or it's something that can happen to me even if I drink too much coffee. Sometimes my chest would get tight and I'll be like, okay, fuck, I need to chill. I'm having trouble taking a deep breath.
Feels different. It feels totally different. It really just feels like I can't breathe. And now with as much time as it's gone by, I know about like how far to push myself. And I don't like check my oxygen as much anymore on this thing, because
can you check it right now for us?
Yeah, sure.
Is the Apple Watch good for that?
I don't have the latest one.
Yeah, I think
so. The watch that I have doesn't measure it. Right now, my oxygen's 96.
And what's it normally?
And my heart rate's a little high right now because I had coffee.
What's your blood? What's that oximeter? Yeah,
I'm around there, 96, 97.
94 and above is normal.
What is 94 and above?
Mm-hmm.
And those things aren't really calibrated perfectly, right? Like I've heard that as long as like it doesn't matter, like on the Apple Watch, mine's always 98, and they said as long as it's like consistent.
Have you tried checking it on your watch in the middle of a workout?
Yeah.
And it's still 98?
Still 98.
Okay, so I've tested this with my wife. She'll go for a run, 400 meters in the middle of her workout. Come back in, and I'm like, check your oxygen, because I want to see if hers dips like mine does. Hers is still 97, 98.
Yeah, sometimes maybe after a workout, if I'm laying on the ground, I'll test it, and it'll dip by 1. So you're saying
laying on the ground.
What?
Plus, if you're laying flat on your back on the ground, that may have an effect too on your lungs.
So you're telling me yours dips significantly?
Yeah.
So if I put you on an assault bike and had you ride it for 10 minutes. Yeah, go ahead. If I went for a 400 meter run, I would have to break. I'd have to rest or stop and like just walk for a little bit before. So you can't just pace yourself. You can't just slow it down. You can't just like be like, okay, I'm going to get on the air runner and do a 12-minute mile.
Not for 400. 200.
You're saying 400 so long that at any pace at some point. So can you walk, dude? You're doing leg drags. Can you walk 5 miles unbroken without stopping, except to pee?
Oh yeah. I can now.
Wow.
I don't know why I would want to, but I can.
I don't know, just to get better.
I've pulled my sled most recently for 2 miles. My legs were dead. My legs were shaking like crazy when I was done.
What sled did you have?
someone that a guy made and then sold to me for $30.
Dear Bill and Katie, I could really use a sled for my kids. Sarah Cox saying it helped Paul big time. It would be great if Paul would fucking come back on the show, Sarah, and talk to us. What's going on? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Paul was the guy I had on the show. He got on TRT, and I do chat with him, and he says it fucking helped a shitload.
Yeah.
3 months ago, I could barely walk, and he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu at one of the best jiu-jitsu schools in the country. 3 months ago, I could barely walk to the bathroom without supplemental oxygen. I wonder if it's kind of interesting. You're putting on muscle, which requires more oxygen.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's interesting. In one of the videos, you talk about how you met Julie Fouché at the CrossFit Games and you wanted to talk to her about CrossFit Health. I know this is totally fucking off topic, but we
should talk about it though. I want to.
Okay. I just have to tell you that triggered me, even though I'm untriggerable. CrossFit Health had nothing to do with getting healthy. CrossFit Health was Greg Glassman's pet project, as I'm sure you know, to show the ills of modern medicine. To have anyone like Julie Fouché. So when Greg, and the amount of mental horsepower it takes a human being to do what Greg did, to talk about the ills of modern medicine, you're basically choosing the biggest boulder that exists on planet Earth and trying to push it back uphill, which is big pharma. And Greg was pointing to the vast amount of evidence that's staring us right in the face. Anyone can just go to Wikipedia and look up replication crisis. And you know Wiki's bought and paid for, but they still can't even hide it. Mm-hmm. And you can see that more than 50% of medicine is complete bullshit. It's worse than bullshit. It's actually hurting people. More than 50%. Basically, the conventional wisdom from anyone in fucking the super high levels of fucking scientific research know that fucking 50% of everything in journals these days is complete horseshit, unreplicatable, irreplicatable. And that basically they're doing consensus science. They're basically saying they don't care. They're not doing science anymore, which is 2 + 2 is 4. They're doing let's take a vote. That is not, there's no voting in science. There's no consensus in science. It's not even an element of science. It's fucking batshit crazy that. Yeah. Anyway, so when I hear that Julie Fouché, she was not a part of CrossFit Health. It's Karen Thompson's thing. Yeah. Karen Thompson is the one who fucking, like, with her not at the fucking helm after Greg, is like having doctors be in charge of CrossFit Health. And no offense to doctors, I love fucking doctors. Millions of great fucking doctors out there, especially in the CrossFit community. But to have her in charge of CrossFit Health is like inviting the fox into the chicken's hen. Complete batshit crazy. Like, she was never involved. She was never intimate with what CrossFit Health is. It would be like when they sold CrossFit Inc., that they threw out the L1 manual and brought in the McDonald's menu.
You're talking about bringing Julie Fouché?
Yeah. Like she has no fucking idea what CrossFit Health is. Zero. She couldn't like if I were to invite her over to Greg's house tomorrow, she couldn't talk to Greg for 5 minutes about the ills of modern medicine. It's like asking someone who works at McDonald's what is the best protocol for getting healthy. And so for CrossFit, soon as the company was sold, they should have just thrown CrossFit Health away or paid Greg $1 million a year to keep running it, because there's so few people on the planet who have the mental horsepower, the cognitive skills to see through the bullshit of what pharma has duped the masses with. Yeah. And so when I heard that, I was like, wow. But there is someone over there, I think she still works there, that Karen Thompson knows. But since she wasn't a doctor, they didn't put her in charge of it. I'm guessing. I would say this. Karen's a beast.
I would say, because now I know more.
Yeah, Karen knows everyone. Yeah, she's the.
I feel like it's a secret that Karen is the one. I would say.
Well, they're just duped. Most people in charge think that doctors are like encyclopedias. They have shitloads of knowledge, but if you don't have the cognitive skills to fucking assemble that knowledge, if you can't be like Dr. Fauci has zero cognitive skills. He's a complete mental midget when it comes to cognitive skills. He cannot tell you 3 + 3 is 6. He cannot. Yeah. I mean, he proved that. He proved that to us. I'm sorry, say that again.
I just wonder how many COVID positive patients he's actually treated himself.
Yeah, it's none.
Anyways,
none. Yeah. Okay, go
Let
on.
me
Sorry.
just say,
So tell me. Yes,
the
please.
reason why I wanted to find Julie Fouché is because from my perspective, she was somewhat of like a face. I don't want to say the
Yes,
face, but
I
a
agree.
face of CrossFit.
Yeah, they put her in charge of it. They fucking
And
put her in
so-
charge of it.
Right. And so my perspective was she was a past games athlete.
Correct.
So she understands CrossFit, and she was, I believe she was at least a L1. She was on the staff, so she's even more than that.
I agree.
And so I thought, okay, she's on our side, and she's a doctor now. And I said, if I come across her, I want to go and talk to her, because nobody is talking about people like me post-COVID and what we should be doing or what we could be doing to improve like our lungs. Basically, I know how to do CrossFit, but is it going to help? Is it not going to? I know it's not going to hurt me, but it's just crazy to me that nobody is talking about this. Everybody's talking, like, if I look up stuff online, the only thing I can find is people talk about these long COVID symptoms. It's brain fog. Maybe they still can't smell or taste, or they get like dizzy, lightheaded. And I'm like, cool, different topic. I'm talking about people who came off of ventilators. What should they be doing to get their lungs better? That's one thing. The other thing that I wanted her to see was like the power of the CrossFit community. And when I was sick, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach at 2 different gyms. When I was sick, my wife had the idea for the gyms to do a workout for me. And she said that's something that I would have done for one of our members, and she's right. And so there's a video of that too on my page. You actually, when they were going to do the workout, Sevan, one of our guys sent it to you, and you did post it on your story that there was a workout that was being done for me.
I'm such a good dude.
And people all over, one of our coaches, she had just come from Japan. Her old peeps in Japan were doing the workout for me too. I mean, there's people.
I think I kind of remember that.
One of my past members who had moved to Texas for nursing school, he did the workout for me just on his own at his new gym that he was at. And so people everywhere doing this workout. I remember my wife, once I was finally awake, maybe like the second day, and my wife showing me this video somebody had done on their phone. And she was like, oh yeah, the gym did a workout for you. And she shows me this video. And I was like, I can't watch that right now. Like, I just started crying. I was like, don't show me that, you know?
Yeah.
And so
that's a healthy response, by the way.
They had a professional videographer there. He actually goes to my church, who did, he made a whole video that day when they came together, and that's on my page. And that's my point of saying this is that video, I don't know why HQ isn't taking that and putting it on TV for people to see the power of the CrossFit community, because you're not seeing that happen at 24-Hour Fitness. You're not seeing that happen at In Shape and Planet Fitness.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to just show, hey, look, this is the power of the affiliate. Just to curate, curate those things.
And they didn't even have to pay for it. Like, they could just repost it. It's, you know, so that's like, that has been frustrating to me, because I'm like, aside from
there is no media vision, and to be honest, there hasn't been since 2018. There's no media vision. There's no goal. There's no it's interesting, and maybe that will change with Dawn. Maybe they'll finally put someone in charge.
I mean, maybe we're coming out of this pandemic too. So what better thing to use than showing what our community does for its people, within the community, you know? I don't know. I mean, I try to tell people all the time, like, come try CrossFit, whatever, call us a cult and all this shit, but it's a good cult.
Just lean into it and embrace it. Hey, it from 2020 to 2022, media consumption skyrocketed. There's never been anything like it. It was fucking absolutely crazy. And now it's on the decline just a little bit, because people are starting to get out and do their shit. But there was an enormous missed opportunity for CrossFit. And I saw Sevan Roche actually do an amazing interview with Don Fall, that he was basically saying this in a nutshell, like, hey, we not only do we have the cure, but then Sevan, I want to throw on top of it, we can't ever let that opportunity happen again, where there's not media for people to consume who are being quarantined for 2 years. What an amazing opportunity it would have been to start producing mass. They basically haven't made any media besides this Road to the Game shit in years. I mean, yeah, it's and at least you're right. There's tons of content out there that could be curated from people like your affiliates who do these fundraisers just to show if the kind of to rally the community to be like, hey, this is the power of the community.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you went and saw a doctor?
Last week.
How was that? What did you go in for?
Yesterday I had pulmonary function tests with a respiratory therapist, and I will get the results back probably this coming week.
And you had to demand that, right? This if it was up to doctors, they would be done with you already. You would have sailed off into the sunset.
Doctor that I saw last week, yes.
And what did the doctor say to you that you saw last week? That was when we talked on the phone, right? You were going for a follow-up, and I
texted you and said, make sure you ask me about my doctor's appointment.
Yeah, tell me.
And that's the only thing you and I talked about in advance, because people have asked me, what are you guys going to talk about? I said, I don't want to know. I just want him to ask me. But he basically asked me, okay, what are you here for today? And I said, I wanted to speak to you about getting a referral to see a pulmonologist. And he said, why would you need to see a pulmonologist? And I said, well,
have you ever seen this doctor before?
I think we've talked on the phone.
A pulmonologist is a doctor who diagnoses and treats diseases of the respiratory system. Okay. Got it.
Why would I need to see him?
Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, this guy can see your file and see that you got you tussled with COVID, right?
But of course, he wasn't one of my doctors that saw me when I was during my time in ICU. It doesn't work that way. It should. I should be able to go back and see one of those doctors and talk to them. But
okay, so what did he say?
He said, why would you need to see a pulmonologist? And I said, because I have scarring in my lungs, and it's been a year now. I still get shortness of breath with exertion, and I haven't actually seen a pulmonologist since I've been home. And so he said, okay. I said, all right. I said, I've actually never, I said, I had a scan done of my lungs last December that I requested. You didn't. I requested, and that was upon the advice of one of my respiratory therapists. She had said, you should ask for that so you can find out what like your new baseline is. And then in a year, do it again and see if there's been improvement.
Basically, look how shitty your lungs are today, so that in a year you can be like, okay, my diet and my exercise plan has been working. I'm healing.
Right. So I told him, I said, you know what? I had a scan done on my lungs in December, and I got the email from you guys that said, oh yeah, there's scarring in there. That's what we expected to see. And that was pretty much it. I said, but I've never actually seen them. Can I see them? And he said, yeah, you can go downstairs and order them, and they'll put it on a disc for you. And I said, okay, but can I just like sit down with somebody and they show me and explain to me what I'm seeing? And he said, well, I could do that, but I don't know why you would want to see him.
Why does he need to know why you'd want to see him? That doesn't even matter.
And I was like, so it was just like, I was like just getting like hit. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm a fucking idiot for asking for this stuff. So I said, well, why wouldn't I want to see him? I said, would you want to see him if you were me? And he goes, what do you like? What? He goes, what, like you? And I said, yeah, for somebody like me, would you want to see them? He goes, well, what do you mean somebody like you?
A black guy from Vacaville. Did you tell him that?
I said, somebody who spent 43 days on a ventilator and survived and now has scarring in their lungs. What would you tell somebody like me? Wouldn't you want to see them?
This guy's a fucking idiot.
He goes, I wouldn't want to see them if I wasn't in the medical field.
Hey, holy shit. Holy shit. This is crazy talk.
I know. And
do you know what it is, though? I want to say this in defense of the doctor. It's because our peer group of human beings are such knuckleheads. It's like I feel sorry for cops. They must think humanity is just lost because they just deal with idiots all day. Cops or doctors just deal with idiots all day. So he can't even imagine that you are like, that there's a group of us that are just a little bit smarter than idiots. Like they can't even.
How dare me ask?
I know. It's nuts.
Yeah. And so he said, well, I wouldn't want to see him if I wasn't in the medical field. And I said, okay. And I just said,
which is so
I said,
stupid.
well, what would you tell somebody like me then? I said, I know you can see my medical record. And I said, I know you haven't read everything that happened to me while I was sick, but I said, what would you tell somebody like me? What should I be doing? I said, I know you see me and I look fine, but what would you tell me because my lungs are still trash? And he said, oh, I would tell you to rehab. And I said, what does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? And he said,
he doesn't even know what that means.
No.
I know. He goes,
He's a doctor.
I've already done the rehab. I said, you see me, do I look like I need rehab? And he's like, well, you know, if you don't exercise and use your muscles, then they can atrophy. And I'm like, I start shaking my head. I said, I fucking know that. I said, as I said, you know what? This is not how I was expecting this appointment to go. I'm asking you just to go see a pulmonologist. I can't get that from you. This is crazy. I said, I just
Is this
never would have
Kaiser?
expected
This is Kaiser?
Yeah. And so he's a family medicine doctor. And I got up and I left. Oh, I said, before I left though, I told him, I said, I get it. I said, I'm not sick anymore, so I'm not making you guys money. I said, but what I'm asking for, I don't think is unreasonable. But I said, this is fucking crazy that this is how this is happening. So I got up and I walked out.
Was it an NP, a doctor, or a PA?
I think a doctor. I can get back to you on that.
No, it's okay. Some of them, I know some of them, they like follow these algorithms, like NPs follow algorithms, and that's all they want to go by. And they're horrible about like thinking outside of whatever algorithm.
Medical practitioner, is that what MP is?
Nurse practitioner, yeah.
Oh,
so
NP,
basically
nurse
like a doctor of nursing, essentially.
No, I would guess that a nurse practitioner might actually be have a little more empathy. I don't know. But I walked out of
Caleb.
there. I immediately went downstairs. I ordered my images, and then I went over to another department and switched doctors. And that new doctor's office called me the next day. And this doctor, he told me, you already have a referral to see a pulmonologist from when you were sick, and it's good for 2 years.
Family medicine providers are some of the worst.
How did the other doctor not see that in your file?
I think he could see it, but from everything else that happened in that appointment, I just think that he would just wanted to. I mean, he's being a dickhead. I wanted to hit him.
How old is he?
That'd have been a good test of your fitness.
Probably mid 40s.
Were you vaccinated prior to getting COVID?
No. Why does it matter?
It matters because if you I don't know why it matters. I guess so we know whether, because supposedly if you take the vaccine, you there's a
lessening of symptoms.
Yeah, thank you, Caleb. A lessening of symptoms if you have the vaccine. Yeah,
is that true?
I mean
supposedly that's what people are saying. That's what people have been saying this whole time. But
no, I don't think anyone knows exactly. No, it's not true.
Thank you.
It's not true. But we don't. But not because it's not true. It's because we don't. No one fucking knows because there's no transparency around what the fuck is going on. Okay, and when you were in there, did they give you the vaccine?
No, no, because when I was sick,
you still don't have the vaccine?
No, when I was sick, I ended up with a blood clot in my lungs. And so they had me on blood thinners. Well, I don't know if I was probably already on blood thinners, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I was. But I ended up with a blood clot in my lungs. And one of the things that they ask you when you go to get the vaccine is if you have had a blood clot within the past 6 months. And so that was obviously, of course, coming right out of it, I thought, well,
God, you dodged a bullet. Thank God for that blood clot.
So, but
do you want the vaccine? Are you pissed? Did you want it when they said they wouldn't give it to you? Were you like, no, I need it, I want it?
They would have given it to me if I wanted it.
Oh, okay. Even though it's,
I mean, the nurses and everybody were pushing it hard. One of the doctors, while I was still sedated, one of the doctors was just constantly giving my wife shit about not being vaccinated.
Even though that seems inappropriate, like that wasn't the time to do that. That's like yelling at someone in the hospital for not wearing their seatbelt. It's like, I don't think right now is the time. They're fucking on life support.
Oh,
That's just jackassery. Hey, but you don't even need the vaccine now because you had it and you have the antibodies, right?
Well, how long do the antibodies last?
Forever. I don't know.
That's the
Longer
question.
than I would guess, much longer than the vaccine. The vaccine, I think that they're saying now, I mean, even that it has like a 15 to 90 day window. I don't even know why we're calling it a vaccine. Do you know what the window is, Caleb, of its effectiveness? I
have no idea. I've never really looked into it. I can look into it right now, though. Well, they were saying
Donna's on. I've never seen Donna in the comments before. Donna's working it today. Most vaccines take 12 years, and I got it done in less than 9 months. Trump. Boosters. The answer is always Big Pharma.
Yeah.
So I'll just real quick, I want to pop this in here. So I got this book sent to me.
Oh.
Have you read it?
No. But I have a handful of, I have that book here somewhere too. And people told me it's fucking wild.
So the person that sent it to me, Michael Butnob.
Yes. Yeah. I know who that is. Yeah. That's cool that he sent it to you.
Yeah, because we found each other on Instagram and he asked me a million questions and then told me who he was. And I was like, wow. And I said, you know what? I'm not asking for anything. I said, but if you just get the opportunity to, would you please tell Greg thank you for what he's done? And I said, if I had not been doing CrossFit, I surely would have not survived being on a ventilator. And he said, he already knows. I've been telling him everything that you've been telling me right now.
Yeah, your name came up the other day. I was actually with Mike and Greg a couple of days ago, and your name came up. But I'll make sure to tell him that. I'm going to actually see him today. Phillip, is there anything that you want people to know about this journey of yours?
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff I want people to know. Because I have to assume that there's people who survived the event who weren't healthy. I mean, survived, and maybe now they feel like they're stuck on their supplemental oxygen. Because I had that when I came home. I had a tube. And my workout consisted of get up off the couch, which takes a lot of energy because at that point I had lost so much weight, no muscle really at that point. I would shuffle my way to the kitchen, which is about 30 feet from the couch, rest in the kitchen because I needed it, and then walk back to the couch and sit down. And that was, in my mind, that's my workout. That's what I can do. I'm going to do it. And even my wife was like, okay, we're going to do it every hour. Right. And then before you know it, it's okay. I'm going to go to the kitchen. I'm going to make myself a glass of water. I'm going to walk back with that glass of water. Even though at the time my hands were like this, you guys, I mean, I was
right.
And I don't know if that's I think it's from the drugs that I was on. And so then it just goes from there. Then I'm like, okay, let's walk outside to the sidewalk, take a break, come back inside, then eventually walk to the mailbox. Then I'm walking to around the corner. I am sure that there's people who aren't doing those things because they think that they are just going to be stuck with this oxygen tube on their nose because they don't know about taking these baby steps, but how quickly over time they become bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you're just so much farther than where you were. And, I wish there was more awareness around it. That's kind of like been one of my frustrations too. Aside from what should I be doing? I don't know, but I know that what I'm doing has been helping. So even if my lungs are the way that they are for the rest of my life, I'm not going to stop doing CrossFit. It's just at a different intensity than what you guys might be able to do. But so what? I hate running anyways.
You want to be used as a resource. You know what it's like. You went through this shit and there wasn't resources for you. And so kind of you're like, okay, if anyone out there went through this, basically contact you.
Well, you just talk to me because I know those people. I can see where it would be easy for someone to become depressed, maybe even about their situation. And I've got,
Hey, you think, of course, right?
well, I mean, yeah, I mean,
That sounds fucking horribly depressing to not be able to get off the couch, or to be a challenge to get off the couch and get a glass of water.
yeah. Or even take a shower. Oh my God, I hated that.
So when you say you'd like people to know, I think what you're saying is you'd like people to know that you're a resource. Reach out to me. You'll
Well,
help them.
yeah,
You'll talk to
it's
them.
a combination of things too, right? Because I want people to know if they're maybe even people who weren't in my situation, just everyday people, like get up off your ass and do something like exercise. I mean, I don't care what it is. If you're somebody who doesn't exercise, you can walk. Okay, let's go for a walk. And even if it's a short distance, then that's what we're going to do. And then before you know it, we're going to be walking miles together, you know?
Did you lose your job? Are you working again?
I didn't lose my job. I've been
Oh
working there.
shit! Wow.
I've been working there for almost 20 years. And so when I was sick, because of like time that I had on the books, they were able to use that. And so that worked out.
Holy shit!
Yep. And my wife and I had, we had, the gyms, they did what's that called? A GoFundMe. They raised quite a bit of money. My dad, he did one on his own and got a lot of money, a lot of donations from other police officers. So that helped support us too.
Fucking awesome.
I had a guy though find me. I want to say this real quick. I had a guy who found me on Instagram. He was on an event for 15 weeks. He's a CrossFit affiliate owner.
Can you say his name?
David Harris.
What's the affiliate? Do you know?
CrossFit. Is it Contender CrossFit or CrossFit Contender?
Fuck, 15 weeks. That's a long time, man.
Yep.
For almost 4 months. And what about him? You just want to say hi to him, or?
No. It's been really nice. He found me. His PT lady found my page and sent it to him and said, "You should talk to this guy," or whatever. And he was already doing stuff. I think it's been nice for him and I to be able to talk almost like a support group because we can understand each other. You know, he's got further to go in his journey because of how long he was in. But it's been great. Like the first time we FaceTime, we were on the phone for over an hour. I mean, we should have recorded it and put it on YouTube. But so we talk every week, every few days.
Oh, that's awesome. What state is he in, did you say?
What state?
Yeah.
He's in Texas. He's an affiliate owner, him and his wife. She used to be a regionals, I believe, athlete, and he's also an attorney.
I'd love to talk to you again in 6 months.
Okay.
See what happens. On this final note before we leave, has the journey only been getting better since?
Oh yeah, of course.
Since September 20th, has it only been getting better?
Yeah.
No, there hasn't been any backsliding.
No.
Or you're like, no. Okay, that's awesome.
No, man. I mean, I can do. You know what I haven't gotten back into doing really is Olympic lifting in my training. I've been doing mostly dumbbell stuff. So maybe that's on the horizon. I would like to start. I love lifting. Like
when do you turn 40? When's your birthday?
December 28th.
Oh, that would be.
It's the worst. Day. It's the worst day of the year to have a birthday.
Let's do that. Let's schedule December 28th for your to come on the show on your 40th birthday.
It's 3 days after Christmas and 3 days before New Year's. Nobody wants to do anything.
The podcast never rests, my friend.
I know.
The podcast never rests. Resting's for pussies.
Make a celebration of it.
Brother, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Good talking to you.
You know what? Honestly, thank you, Sevan, because it's hard having like a voice. I'm just a guy who has 2 kids and a wife, and I'm not like looking for followers or anything, but I can only do so much through hashtags and Instagram.
Oh, your account is so humble, dude. You're such a humble, cool dude.
Some people don't want help. I get that.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, even if you just want to talk, I don't need to, be your trainer, but and Biden's right anyway. Yeah, right.
If Donald Trump and Joe Biden can survive COVID, anyone can. I don't know about anyone. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll talk again.
Definitely.
Ciao. I feel like there's another hour and a half meat on the bone, but I do have to I'm 4 minutes late to leaving for tennis in my life. My life. When you leave this podcast, Caleb, where will you go?
Usually go out into the trauma bay and hang out for a little bit.
Throw a chew in, watch some porn.
Yeah, just a fat lip.
All right. Bruce Wayne, I saw your comment on there that because I talk about vaping so much, you want to try it. I'm so sorry. I'll never talk about it again. Do not try it. It's stupid. The only thing that comes with vaping is that you eventually have to quit. That's it. It's worse than masturbation.
Barely.
I'm gonna try to do a live call-in show tonight or a Hiller Fit review show. My notes are getting fucking insane. I'm gonna talk to Caleb later on today when I'm done with tennis, Souza and Hiller, and see what's going on, what we can get going in the next day or two. We need to go through my notes. I got too much shit. All right, guys. I will talk to all of you very soon. Thanks for checking in. Donna, great contributor today. Hope to see you around some more.